Hi everybody, welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm showing you how to make something exciting, these very super easy, super soft and squishy gluten-free bread rolls. Now these are a basic white bread roll recipe which come in a tear and share format like this. Now as you can see, I'm going to show you one of these babies up close because they are so good. They are a lovely soft squishy roll. They've got this gorgeous soft brown top which is brushed with butter and lovely and soft on the inside, and I have one as well that I've ripped open for you guys to see. Look at that, they are so deliciously soft and squidgy inside. Now I know this doesn't really do them justice, you have to try them to believe them. They are so easy to make, and I know you might be thinking, oh, gluten-free bread is really scary, but trust me, these are so easy and they're all made with just normal ingredients that I've got from the supermarket. So I'm going to show you exactly how to make these, how to shape them, prove them and bake them, and once you've tried them, I promise you will never go back. They're perfect for sandwiches and for burgers, you can freeze them. I just love making them and eating them. So let me show you how to make these amazing gluten-free white bread rolls.
The first thing you need to do making these bread rolls is to activate your yeast. So you want to warm the milk up in the microwave, about 30 seconds to a minute until it's just warm, and then dissolve your sugar in and then pop in your yeast. I use Allison's quick yeast because it's gluten-free. Give it a good stir, and then what we're going to do is cover this up and leave it in a nice warm place for 5 to 10 minutes, and it should form a nice frothy head on top. While the yeast is activating, get your other ingredients ready. So with your dry ingredients, you want to add your gluten-free bread flour, xanthan gum and salt to a large mixing bowl and give it a good stir. You also want to prepare your wet ingredients. So first of all, crack your eggs into a mug or a bowl, and then you're going to add in your oil and your apple cider vinegar. And then we'll give it a really good whisk so these are nice and mixed up, and it just means that when your yeast is activated and ready, everything's good to go. You don't need to beat the eggs up super hard, but you want them to all be nicely mixed, so give it a good whisk until they all look nice and combined, a bit like this. When your yeast is ready, it should start forming a froth on top. Now it might go really frothy, or it might just start to froth like this. As long as you get this, your yeast is good to go. If you don't, you might need to discard it and start again. So add your yeast mixture to your flour, and then you're going to add in the wet ingredients as well. This is basically an all-in-one recipe, but it's not like normal bread. This will not form a dough that can be nicely kneaded. Instead, we want to go for a nice thick batter. So you're going to need some arm power for this. Using a wooden spoon, you want to beat all your ingredients together. And at first it might look lumpy, but then it should start to come together like this. And you want to keep going until there's no loose lumps of flour in the mixture. And then you're ready. So for this, I'm using a springform cake tin, and this just helps the rolls rise and form a nice shape because they will rise up instead of rising out. And I'm just giving this a really good grease with some extra vegetable oil. This is the part which looks the most difficult, but actually it's pretty easy. So we're going for 7 rolls, and I'm basically using 2 spoons, a bit like I would with cake batter, to spoon it into the rough shapes. Don't worry too much about being neat here. In a minute, I'll show you how to use your hands to form them into a more roll-like shape. But for now, we're just making sure that we've got 7 relatively even pieces of dough, and you just want to keep going until you've got the 7 piles that are pretty evenly spaced. I like to go for 6 around the edge and 1 in the middle, and you'll see when they're baked, they form a lovely tear and share type arrangement. So once all of the dough is out of the mixing bowl, it's time to shape these so they look a little bit more like bread rolls. The easiest way to do this is with wet hands. So I like to get a bowl of water, preferably cold water, just next to where I'm working. And you want to make sure that you keep wetting your fingers because otherwise the dough will stick to them. And then basically just use your hands to smooth them into a more round shape. Now again, it doesn't matter if they're really precise, I like to go for a more rustic look. And again, if you notice that some of the rolls are uneven in size, you can just take bits of dough from each roll until they look relatively even. And you can see now they're starting to smooth into a more round shape, and this means that when they prove, they will just look a little bit more like bread rolls. I like to try and get a gap between all my rolls because as they prove, they're going to expand, but you want them to be touching by this point because then you get that lovely tear and it keeps them nice and soft inside. So now my rolls are ready, it's time to prove them. And to do this, I'm going to cover them with some oiled cling film, just to make sure that they don't stick to that and lose their shape afterwards. And then I'm going to pop them in a nice, warm, draft-free place. Now, depending on how warm a day it is, They may take more or less time than the recipe states to rise. If it's a cold area, they might take a bit longer. If it's a really warm area, they might take less time. But this is what you're going for. Nice puffed up rolls that feel soft to the touch, and you want to be delicate with them at this point because you don't want to lose the nice air that we put into them. I'm going to brush them with a bit of melted butter. This is what keeps them nice and soft in the oven and gives them that lovely golden look. So now they've proved, I'm just brushing this on, and when your rolls are nearly proved, you want to make sure your oven's preheated as well so you can pop them straight in after this. All the cooking times, don't forget, are in the recipe, which is linked down below. So I'm giving them a nice bake, and if they do start to catch, you can put foil on top to stop them burning. When they come out of the oven, just give them a little tap. If they sound hollow, then they're done. You want them nice and golden on top, but you just want to leave them to cool for at least half an hour to an hour before you get them out of the tin. This gives all the gums in the bread time to settle, and it will make your bread taste so much better. Trust me, it's warm bread you want, not hot bread. And as you can see, once you pop them out of the tin, you can then tear them apart and you get these amazing, soft, squidgy gluten-free rolls. This is when they're perfect, but you can also freeze them, and if you want to refresh them, you can either zap them in the microwave for 10 to 15 seconds the next day, or pop them in the oven with a little sprinkling of water for about 5 minutes, and you've got perfect, fresh tasting gluten-free bread.
So there you have it, guys, a really easy gluten-free white bread roll recipe, making these delicious, soft, squidgy, yummy white bread rolls. I'm going to go make one of these into a sandwich right now because I'm starving. Now, if you do want to give these gluten-free bread rolls a go, I will pop the link to the full written recipe in the description, which is on my blog, and it's got a print-out recipe card on there as well, so you can print it out and pop it in the kitchen with you. And I will also list all the ingredients so you know what to get for your shopping list. Make sure you check it out in the description below, and let me know if you give these a go. Please hit like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys again for more gluten-free recipes soon. Bye!